Hi, this is Rod King, and I'm presenting a preview of the presentation which I'm to give on March 4, 2021. This is to give you an idea of what I am to present and what the main points are. It is not a copy of the final presentation. Anyway, the theme of my presentation would be hyperlearning, and the main topic is towards a YouTube of AI fractal grids. The topic is slightly different from what is being advertised, and I have introduced AI, which shows the future direction of where fractal gridding is going. And the subtopic is hyperlearning and effortless peak performance for every engineering student, entrepreneur, and project planner, as well as manager in Sierra Leone. The presentation takes a problem and solution format, which means that we first focus on the problem and then the solution. There is an invisible giant problem in the world, and since it's invisible, people do not see it, but many people do not know that the world is essentially trapped and suffering from slow learning and problem solving. And the COVID pandemic has put the inadequate problem solving of the world into focus. And that is also a problem in Sierra Leone, where we have multiple problems that we are not able to solve. And one of the key reasons is that we live in a world of linear presentation, organization, and thinking. And if you think about it, right now, things are moving at an exponential scale, and the world is still dominated by linear tools such as linear search engines, the linear user interfaces of social networks, and even in our presentation, we write in a linear way and we present information in a linear way. And by all accounts, this is a very slow method of processing, and it results in slow learning as well as problem solving. So what's the ideal solution, and what's the great opportunity from the existing situation? We have an opportunity in Sierra Leone to create a world of hyperlearning, collaboration, organization, and thinking, which will result in effortless peak performance and efficient communication. And why is Sierra Leone positioned to do this? Because the invention which will drive hyperlearning is based on fractal gridding. And here we define a fractal grid as a tool that offers multiple brain-friendly and collaborative ways to collate, read, analyze, navigate, engage with, and see information on a page. It's a non-linear way of processing information. But can Sierra Leone become a hyper-learning nation? What this means is that can Sierra Leone learn to instantly, or at least very fast, discover and solve its problems? So, and we have not had a good experience with solving problems, so hyperlearning presents that opportunity. So I believe that we can, and there are two examples of great hyperlearners. One is Jeff Bezos, who currently is the chairman of Amazon and is worth $192.6 billion, and Elon Musk, also an entrepreneur in the US, and he is considered as an hyperlearner, and he's worth $190 billion. If Sierra Leone becomes a hyperlearning nation, my hypothesis is that we can produce people like the Jeff Bezos and the Elon Musk, as well as the Steve Jobs. So there is a great opportunity here. And the Sierra Leone Institution of Engineers can play a leading role in creating hyperlearners, in creating hyperlearning engineers. who will be able to demonstrate effortless peak performance as well as efficient communication. So this slide gives the core of the presentation, which is a fractal grid slide presentation. I shall explain what this means, but essentially we are using a fractal grid of 9 slides to do this presentation on fractal gridding. So this is what a fractal grid at level 1 looks like, as we all know. So the main topic is at the center towards a YouTube of AI-Fractal grids, and the subheading is HyperLearning and effortless peak performance for every student, entrepreneur, and project manager in Sierra Leone. So there are 8 other slides, and you can see the numbers. And for slide 1, you have a YouTube of fractal grids. And slide 2, the main heading is Fractal Grid Technology Discovery and Ideal Final Result. In the actual presentation, I use a different format, but here I just want to show how we can present a fractal grid at a micro, macro, and super macro levels, if you wish. So I shall just quickly go through these different slide presentations. So we can see slide 1 soon, but it will begin at level 0. So this is level 0, which contains the main heading, and we can just run through the slides. Slide 1 has the heading a YouTube of fractal grids and an internet library of infinitely zoomable fractal grids. So what this means is that in the future, I see fractal grids being prepared using a software platform, and they will be available everywhere for people to use in different disciplines, so that when we have problems or questions, we can simply search for fractal grids as in a YouTube, and rather than have videos, the content will be played through fractal grids. So that is what that deals with. This is given a history of fractal gridding and how it came about, and I discovered or got the idea for fractal gridding while I was driving home after leaving my daughter in kindergarten. So I just got the idea, it came to me, I went home, drew a box and started dividing it into a 3x3 grid, and that was how the idea came about. And later I developed the fractal gridding methodology, which deals with how to use it to its maximum. So a fractal grid will be defined, and also basic terms like the center is called the sun, and then the cells around are called the planets. So this covers examples of fractal gridding templates and content for students, for entrepreneurs, for project managers and planners. All of these are different templates that we can use. And this slide covers fractal gridding resources where people can go to get more information to deepen their knowledge on fractal gridding. And these are the conclusions, which means that we see fractal gridding beyond just a collection of fractal grids. It can be presented as a social network, as a search engine, as a question and answer platform. So we have lots of ideas about where fractal gridding will go. Also, I am using this slide to show multiple perspectives of a fractal grid. This is a fractal grid at level 0, but we can also, if we click here, we can see the same conclusions fractal grid at level 1. And here, if we click, we can see the same fractal grid of conclusions at level 2. This is just to give people ideas that you do not have a constant view of a fractal grid. You can have multiple views. Well, that's all for now. I thank you for your attention. If you have got questions, please put them in the WhatsApp group. I shall also provide a link so that you can directly make comments and contribute to this presentation. Once again, thank you very much.